and she really, like, one thing that kind of stuck out to me was that she really knew and referenced or researched the characters that were in her books and stories. For example, there's this one, she worked at this college and she was really into activism, and so she went to these villages and she interviewed the people who lived there, and I think, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. Like, they were going through, I think, a famine? Something bad was happening in their village. Sorry, I was...
That's okay.
So much.
There's a lot of information.
Yeah, I was just, trying to understand all this. But yeah, and so she got to know them and interviewed them and understood their story. And then also in her story, in the same, with the same characters, there were activist college students that, yeah, so it was kind of cool that she knew both sides. In her story, she knew a lot about both kinds of characters that were in the story, from personal experiences. So I thought, that was the main thing, was that because she had experienced it and she did a lot of research on it, it was saying that she read, books and books about these people along with interviewing them. So she just really, did her homework, and, she lived her, a lot of what was in her story. So I thought that gave her a lot of expertise and authenticity, and so it's because she knows so much about it, I would be willing to listen to her. And it also kind of leads into my next question about this was asking a lot. I was supposed to think back to week 1.
Oh my god.
I was just are you serious? But no, it was kind of what we've been going through this whole quarter with the criteria to judge the authors on, and it was supposed to be based on their criteria, how do I evaluate the people in the books that we read this week, with the Cat with the Yellow Star, Wanting More, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And it kind of goes along with sorry, her name is Ming Fong Ho. Ming Ho, yeah. All these names. I was so on top of things this week. It goes along with her because the people, especially, I paid particular attention this week to Cat with the Yellow Star, and they were all living it and experiencing it and having a first-hand account of their story. So yeah. I feel that's very credible because, first of all, they have
pictures.
Yeah, the pictures. No kidding. Yeah. So there's the photographic evidence. There's they were actually there living it, and
name to picture really helped.
Yeah.
Who's that? Oh.
Yeah, and
and some of them had the same name, first name. So
yeah. Who's who?
Yeah. So yeah, just a lot about personal accounts and everything, and then it was asking also what's important when choosing international children's literature, and I think I know I keep on repeating myself about this, but just the author really knowing and understanding what this context of their story is, and knowing because it's international, knowing the culture. Just kind of if someone were to read a book about American culture or an American perspective, they'd probably want an American talking about it because they would know best. Same with international literature, with Ming Fong Ho about her stories, because I believe it more because she actually knew the culture. So
yeah,
I think it's the same. Sorry. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'll just finish my sentence. But it's just it could be the same for any kind of literature. It's you want, for any kind of international literature, you want the experience and authenticity of the author. So, I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
There was a part where she started talking about Chinese being the language of her heart,
Mm-hmm.
and how each of the different languages she knew and each culture she was a part of, and how she didn't feel she could be considered real Chinese, and she was kind of more of a hybrid of
Mm-hmm.
all these cultures. And I thought it was interesting that she took that standpoint and talked about kind of how we're influenced by different cultures that
Mm-hmm.
we're within and cultures around us,
Mm-hmm.
and how that influenced her writing.
Yeah, it was kind of hinting that she felt like each culture was really like a part of her, even if she wasn't full-bred Chinese or totally English speaking, you know, like she was influenced and took that influence and used it for her stories, I guess.
Yeah, she kind of said like she didn't consider like she would be like because it was in addressing like Joy's question on being able to like maintain authenticity.
Yeah, that part paid a lot of attention to.
Yeah, and it was just really interesting to me to like compare that to like everything else we've talked about.
So yeah, that was it from my questions. I guess I'll share the book that I found. Sorry, it's on my computer, so I'm going to bring the camera over. It looks like a fun book. It's called Independent Dames. It's kind of like your president's book, except this one's about the women of the revolution.
Oh.
Yeah, like this one part, it's like, I'll just read this little section from it. Sybil Ludington was 16 years old when she rode 40 miles through a rainy night to spread the news of a British attack and round up 400 Minutemen to fight back. And then in parentheses, remember Paul Revere? His ride was only 16 miles long. It's like...
It's a sassy book.
Yeah, it is sassy. It's just like, it's kind of like a girl power kind of book. It's kind of fun. So I just thought that one was really interesting. It's like, kind of like your book, it's taking, like, it has like that interesting viewpoint. Because like, it's the women that you don't really hear much about. Like, I'd heard about Sybil Ludington, but I didn't hear about her until like college. And so...
Most history is written from the view of like white middle-aged men.
Yeah. So this was really cool to hear the other stories of the revolution, and it's true stuff. But so, yeah, that was my book.
I like that.
Yeah, I would like to read it to a class because, like, you know, teaching the different perspectives in history, but also, you know, like, give the girls not just that, give boys and girls like female heroes to have, you know, because like we think of like George Washington, Paul Revere, yeah, but then there's like female heroes of history too.
Like, women can be important figures in history, not just
Yeah, we
men.
can.
Yeah. But I like how I thought that it could be relatable to boys too, and I think that's really important. It's like girls and boys can enjoy it. Just like girls have heroes who are guys in history, it could be the other way around. So yeah, that was my book.
Okay, my book was about Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss.
And basically it's like a very small chapter book with really big handwriting, and there's like random black and white pictures, just like kind of to help lead the kids along. And it's kind of cool because it starts off with like who is he? Like, where did he come from? And it talks about like where he graduated and where he got his like education, and it starts to discuss like how he came up with the ideas for his books.
Yeah, I want to know that.
The books like The Cat in the Hat and Grinch's Turtles and Sneetches. I hate reading that book. It's so hard to read. And Other Places You'll Go. So it's kind of how he developed his own thinking.
She's confident.
Sorry.
I know, I go like I get stuck.
Yeah, I didn't want to end there.
In case you don't know, there's a girl in a very interesting outfit who just walked by. She's very confident in herself.
It's probably real cold.
Oh yeah, gosh, dang, girl, do you see how windy and rainy it is today? Hey, I won't judge. Continue.
Okay, back we go.
Back to literature.
Okay.
She'd make an interesting character in a book. How was that?
Okay, we're gonna move on.
But no, I like that. Like, I feel like kids would really like to hear about Dr. Seuss.
Like
You
your
know?
pictures? I know, it's just like, it's not like actually him, but it's like little cute drawings. I liked them.
Oh, that's cool.
And like the lion, so it kind of talks about his life, and there's also a timeline, which is very handy.
Neat.
I didn't notice that before. But okay.
I'm going to
Got
just
it.
quickly show the camera my book.
There's
no,
also like the same author also wrote a lot of other books that talk about like the other ones that suggest is like who was Walt Disney, who was
Oh,
the
yeah.
author. So it's like the same format for different people. Oh, there's one. Who was Steve Jobs?
Oh, that's interesting.
That's a new one.
Steve Jobs.
Okay, gut reactions. How did y'all feel about Them books.
Gut
We'll
reactions.
start with wanting more. So much drama.
Yeah.
Literally, but it was enough drama for me to like want to keep reading and
Mhm.
like I want to know what's gonna happen next. And I didn't put the book down until it was done.
This one.
I love
Yeah,
books like
some of
that.
the names were confusing me
Yeah.
because they were really similar. But
Because they refer to each other like, what is it?
As-
Kala and
mhm.
Aga?
So it was like confusing me, but I really liked it. I think it would be a really good read aloud book
Oh yeah.
for older kids, but I think that it's really important to point out the glossary
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
give them a bit of background information because it's post-Taliban Afghanistan, so it's like you need to
Mhm.
kind of like lay the groundwork before you read that book.
Yeah, I feel like it could be kind of like one of those read aloud books for an older class that's part of a unit of study.
Mm-hmm.
So then like they can kind of relate it back to like social studies stuff that they're doing and stuff like that and history
Yeah.
lessons.
I really liked reading it. One thing, like, now that I was thinking about it and, like, how she got her idea from that report she read, I'm wondering if it's really nonfiction or if she did, like, research to, like, or did it say she did research? I can't
I
remember.
don't remember either. But she got the story from someone else.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was really interesting to follow her as she like
Mhm.
gained her confidence throughout the whole book.
Yeah.
Like just kind of going with the flow and what people want from her, and then at the end she like makes the decision to do it for herself, which was really big for her because she's always like, I'll clean this, I'll clean that, like make people happy.
I really liked, like, it wasn't just about her, like, being abandoned by her family. Like,
Mhm.
it was about her kind of finding who she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't just like victim the whole time, you know, like she was like a empowerment kind of thing, you know.
I liked it. It was.
as well.
I didn't want to put it down. 'Cause I was like, what's gonna happen? Like, are they really gonna get married?
Ugh, I love books like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I was with Rules a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago. I was just like, I gotta know.
I didn't know if I was gonna like it, but
Mm-hmm.
Me neither. I wasn't really sure, but.
I was thinking my gut reaction,
Mhm.
like, honestly, when I first saw the title of this week's focus about like biographies, nonfiction, I'm like, because like, you know,